You have quite a treasure in that Jupiter Nite. It's presented live before an internet audience, so stay a while and listen.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jupiter Nite. My name is Chris.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Jeremy.
Tonight's episode is going to be a sleepy episode. We're going to be talking about sleep tonight.
So basically, while Alan and I talk, Chris is going to go take a nap.
Yeah. And you'll find out
really
why
wants
that
to.
is. I medically have a reason to now not off during this show. So I have an excuse.
Yeah, he's even got the apparatus
I
here.
do. Why don't I get into this? So we'll be talking about the various different things about sleep, why we need sleep, sort of the history of sleep, and then maybe some nap tips, some sleep tips, and a little look at some sleep disorders. And starting down that avenue, I'm broken.
Yeah, get started.
Now, do you guys know about...
Now, you have actually been diagnosed with brokenness, while Alan and I just think that we're broken.
Yeah, it's all in our heads.
I've been diagnosed. People that followed me for a little while know that I have sleep apnea, which is basically a disgusting thing where the muscle in my throat or some crap like that blocks an airway. And so I stop breathing during the night while I sleep.
Fun.
So they have created this
Now, correct me if I'm wrong,
here.
but doesn't the lack of breathing lead to death?
Right. So what the body does is because, when you're sleeping, sometimes you're kind of in a paralyzed state. The body goes into this emergency attack response.
Whoa.
It's like if an animal bit my leg, that kind of response. That level of, like this emergency adrenaline release kind of.
You all of a sudden get a fight or flight in the middle of your sleep?
You do. You're sleeping, and so you'll be laying there, and you're just all of a sudden go silent, and you got to breathe really quick. So they invented this thing here called a CPAP, and this gets what this is a beast that. Every single night, I have to strap to my head.
Are you going to put it on?
Yeah. All right. So you see, this I have to sleep with, and then
That looks comfy.
Yeah, real comfy. And then this here gets turned on, and it has a.
It sounds like you have a snorkel on.
It's like a snorkel, exactly, and it runs all night long. Continuous air pressure.
Does it make a lot of noise? Like,
Yeah, it makes like a fish tank pump.
I could live with the noise.
Well, probably
I like
white
having
noise.
It's a little exactly. It's a little white noisy.
Yeah.
Noisy. But the problem is,
But
of
it's
course-
pushing air up your nose.
Yeah, and
Constantly.
and that rubs on your nose, and I have marks on my face when I wake up. So, yeah, it's a little rough. So I was doing something like I went in, they did a sleep study. They hook all these little diodes up to you, and they make you sleep with all these cameras on you.
In the hospital?
Yeah. They're
Well,
like, go,
that's not awkward.
go sleep now. I'm like, okay. It takes me like an hour to wind down and fall asleep, but with all this stuff, I actually did manage to fall asleep eventually. I had a beard, so like I had diodes like glued in my beard.
They didn't shave you?
No, they're like, oh, you didn't shave? You didn't, like, nobody told me to shave. I would have probably shaved. Nobody told me to shave.
Probably. Not definitely.
Well, come on, dude. The beard, you mean, that is a big thing to shave that. So they hook me all up and they say, yeah, well, Mr. Fisher, 27 times an hour, I think it was.
Yeah.
27 times per hour. You woke up gasping for air. You stopped breathing 27 times.
Now, you don't remember this when it happens because
right?
you're still in a sleep state.
Yeah, and your long-term memory is shut down at this point. So you don't know it. So it could be happening to you right now, and you don't know it.
Well, hopefully not now. You're watching an internet show.
What about you? You guys got anything?
Yeah.
What?
Just a few nights ago, I had a strange occurrence where I woke up. I sleep with 3 blankets on my bed.
Oh,
and I woke up the next morning in almost the same position that I went to bed in.
Right.
But all my blankets were in the exact opposite order. And I don't think
middle
that
one's
my
still the
house...
same, though?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't think my house is haunted, so that probably wasn't it. So I went and asked my mom about it, and apparently she has been diagnosed with restless leg syndrome, which is basically this thing where you can't hold still.
Right.
Especially in your sleep.
So you kick everyone.
You kick them off, and so what we figure happens is I kick a lot in my sleep, and I must have at some point kicked the covers off and rolled over and then pulled them back on top of myself before
That's just impressive.
I woke up.
Yeah, it's coordination.
Yeah, restless leg syndrome is hereditary.
Oh,
so it's likely
she's got it. If your mom's got it,
it's likely that I've inherited it.
oh, thanks, Mom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for that
Good
one.
genes.
Now, Alan here, he once a year you go out.
So far once a year.
You go out on the boat.
Yeah, I do commercial fishing, and
I wonder when we will eventually run out of things to talk about your boat trips.
Hopefully never.
I've
because
been
it's-
going for at least since the 4th grade, so I got a lot of different stories.
All right.
Yeah, but this fishery,
now-
the real work has been 11 years.
I gotta imagine when you go out there, your sleep just gets all kinds of screwed up.
That boat is ugly.
I know. I'm sorry. I implied that's your boat, didn't I?
These look nothing
By
like the gill nutters
association.
I'm on. But anyways, yeah, up there it's crazy because sometimes you don't get sleep. You only get like a couple hours. You're working long shifts, working hard.
Yeah.
And
And is there enough sleep accommodation for everybody that works on the ship?
Oh yeah. Well, our boat anyways.
For everybody to sleep at the same time?
Yeah, we got 4 guys and 4 bunks,
okay.
so it works.
Okay.
It works out fine.
I was picturing
the last boat it was really small, and so we had to play footsie.
Oh,
and then
I could not fall asleep doing that.
Especially like the other guy,
another
Shad.
dude.
He was really tall, so it's like, well, even when his legs tucked, we're still. It's
Wow, those are beautiful boats, man.
Good finds.
Yeah.
But yeah, even after all that work and not sleeping, I still have trouble. It still takes me sometimes like an hour.
Now, is it just the environment
hour and a
change
half
for
to
you?
go to sleep? Well, it's just that you're so on, and I just can't turn it off that quick.
Yeah.
And
I actually have the problem sometimes after doing shows.
yeah.
Which
And
is
I
it's great that we do a late night every night show, right?
Well, I figure I'm already screwed. So.
I normally self-medicate to help me go to sleep
Right.
from time to time.
There's always that.
Here and there. But I found up there a shot of whiskey can sometimes do the trick.
Yeah. See, that's the problem with sleep. In sleep apnea terms, the drinking before you go to bed makes that muscle relax even more, so it actually makes sleep apnea worse.
It can.
Which sucks because, right,
Fun.
you're probably
More
exhausted,
fun.
so you kind of go down the path of getting more and more caffeine in your system. So then you can't sleep because you're highly caffeinated. So then you try to do things to make yourself sleep, but those actually make the sleep apnea worse, which makes the original problem worse.
After I found out just the
horrible
other day about my mom's restless leg syndrome and the fact that I might be suffering from it as well, I found the same thing. Things that you do to relax yourself can actually end up enhancing because it's not
Endorphins and whatnot get released, and
the actual restless leg syndrome is that you can't hold still.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you ingest things that make you relax, you hold still more, and it aggravates the syndrome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So East Coast Girl here in the chat room, along with a few other folks, are suggesting that maybe we're just not having enough sex before sleep.
Intercourse would help.
Now, actually,
I don't think I'll say no to that.
One of the things
Yeah.
that brought this up was there's been some news around being able to catch up on your sleep on the weekend, for example. And one of the things they say is they'll avoid physical activity before sleeping. I'm just pointing that out, though, not disagreeing with East Coast Girl.
Well, maybe
Or
you're just
you
not
can
that
just
into it. maybe.
Yeah,
You
just really
there.
relaxed, really just, mellow. Just mellow.
You're
Keep it
saying the
easy.
dead fish approach.
Yeah,
So this study suggested that you actually can catch up on your sleep on the weekends if you sleep in. If you run a little hot during the week and you don't get enough sleep, the general thought is you can't really catch up on sleep.
No.
But according to recent studies that just came out, I think yesterday or today and yesterday,
Within the last couple days.
yeah, they're saying that actually studies of some groups show when they did some double-blind studies and tests that, as a matter of fact, yes, you are able to catch up on your sleep.
Dr. David Dingus, who led the study,
Dingus.
said the additional hour or two of sleep in the morning after a period of chronic partial sleep loss has genuine benefits for continued recovery of behavioral alertness.
There you go.
Dude,
And
that's what I've been saying for
He said
years.
behavioral with a U in it, so obviously it's foreign.
Now, you can only trust this as
English-
far as you
English
throw it,
study.
and this did come from the UK. No, I kid. I
Well,
shouldn't say that.
the other side of this, though,
They're
is,
probably more on top of it than we are.
if you...
Obviously, they're the ones that did the study.
no kidding.
If you're not getting a lot of sleep during the week, it's probably because you're doing a lot of stuff. So can you really spare the extra hours on
Right,
the weekend?
right.
Sometimes on the weekend you can, because at least you don't have that work normally that you have to go to. So even if you have other obligations, you can still sleep in normally, like another extra
Right.
hour or so, which is what I do. I only get maybe like 6 hours of sleep a night during the week, like
Man,
if
yeah.
that, and
Not
then on the
bad.
weekend, I try to sleep
try
in as
to.
much as I can.
I hear you. That's basically
So-
my approach.
Now,
too.
actually, this article led me to basically do a little bit of light research for tonight's show that was basically, why do we have to sleep at all?
Yeah, what is the point of it? It's like a massive waste of our time.
It is. Like, the
Yeah.
human race spends an ungodly percentage of their total life sleeping. Like,
It's
if you
so
factor
nice.
in
It's
the very young
comfortable.
and the very old, I think it's like something like 60% of your life is spent sleeping. And that's ridiculous. I mean, imagine if we as humans could spend all of that time awake.
Building something or discovering something.
or researching new things,
Yeah.
or
Creating.
making podcasts. I mean, I'm just saying.
It turns out we wouldn't be able to do what we do while we're awake if it wasn't for sleep, because there's chemical levels that change significantly throughout your body while you sleep. Your muscles go into repair mode. Your body's immune system becomes hyper engaged.
But-
there's a lot of like these maintenance things your body does while you sleep.
That's true, but there are still scientists out there that believe that this whole sleep cycle has been a form of selective adaptive evolution. That the whole reason people started sleeping, or animals started sleeping in their early evolutionary processes, is because their food sources
Right.
weren't
Otherwise
out
they
and
blow
active.
through their food.
Right, and why be active if you can't bring in energy? Why waste your energy when you're not bringing in any?
That makes a lot of sense.
Have you guys ever known somebody that tried to change up their sleeps where they didn't do the whole night, they do every few hours?
I actually there was a guy that lived across the hall from me in college that tried to do the 30-hour day thing.
Yeah. I worked with a guy that did that.
He did this massive spreadsheet to work out his class schedule and everything so that he could figure it out.
This guy worked
He
with
pasted it on his door so that people would knock while he was sleeping.
Yeah, he had signs up on his office door and stuff. Yeah, he would sleep at the office.
Oh.
Whoa.
Well, because he'd have to.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, so he actually set up. So he had signs and stuff like this guy would put up, "Do not interrupt me. I'm doing a sleep thing right now." And he had everybody. He went around, got everybody on board with it.
Nice.
Maybe he was just doing that to get out of work, though.
Oh, genius! Genius.
I'm doing a study. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Now, but maybe naps. Let's talk about naps a little bit.
All right,
because
now,
I know we talked a little bit before the show, Chris and I, we can't nap.
No, naps screw me up.
Yeah.
Well, that's 3 for 3 here.
Yeah, 3 for 3. I cannot nap. It takes me just as long to nap as it does to fall asleep.
Yeah, and then when I wake up,
Yeah.
I'm confused. I don't know what time it is. I'm all off my game.
Same thing here. You know, if I take a nap that's more than, I can't nap. But if I lay down, I can relax for 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If you get up to about the half-hour mark, though, and I've actually started to doze off, if I get up, I'm like, what day is it?
Right,
What
it's
time
all
is
weird.
it? What am I
Where
supposed to
am
do?
I?
What did I sleep through?
So we'll link in the
What year is it?
In the show notes.
Where did I get this beard?
There's a. Was I in a freezer? I was just here to deliver a pizza. No. So there was a study that came out that said that after the 15-minute mark of a nap, your brain starts to release these chemicals where it's like, okay, I'm getting serious. And when you hit a half hour, you're actually fully engaged in this process of beginning the process of really sleeping. So if you limit a power nap to 15 minutes, it's supposed to curb that release of chemicals. Now, what people have done to sort of amp that up to the next notch is they're doing what's called a caffeine power nap.
Yeah.
And you shoot caffeine, and then you follow it with a nap chaser.
Like a dew.
Yeah.
Or a Red Bull or something.
Or a Red Bull. So another person I worked with, obviously I worked at a very sleep-deprived place. This is funny because it's the same place. Another person I worked with would do the 2-alarm thing in the morning. First alarm goes off, crack open the Red Bull, down the chute as fast as possible.
And then back to bed.
Ooh, right after waking up in the morning?
I almost now feel sick if I don't have an energy drink in the mornings.
I maybe get like coffee or something, but
Yeah, I
Red
gotta have
Bull, like I
coffee.
can't.
Coffee
I
is
could
harder on
not
my
chug
stomach.
a soda that early in the morning.
Coffee is harder on my
way.
stomach than a Red Bull.
That's true. It's kind of
Weird.
acidic. And
It is. It's
So
something-
I don't drink coffee, so I don't know.
So it was a gal. What she would do, she'd slam the Red Bull and then have a second alarm for 15 minutes.
so she would take her caffeine power nap.
At like 6:30 a.m. and then at 6:45 the alarm goes off and she'd get out of bed.
Does that really wake you up better?
Well, she claimed. I've never really tried. I think I've tried it once and I couldn't fall back asleep because I was so excited to see if it worked. I couldn't fall back asleep, so I don't actually know if it works or not. It's true, but she swears by it.
That seems like you.
Now, I want to go back to your sleep apnea thing for a second
Yeah.
because Congress today, or maybe it was yesterday, but it's in the
Yeah.
last couple days,
No, I think it was today.
they passed legislation regarding airlines and their sleep patterns.
Yeah.
They have called for now a national itinerary to be created so that there's less of a chance of pilots suffering from sleep deprivation and fatigue while they're flying.
Right.
Because up until now, and it has been not common, but it has happened that some pilots end up going on 24 or 36-hour shifts
Right.
when they do like long international flights. And some of them probably try to sleep in the cockpit, but have you ever tried to sleep on a plane? That
Yeah.
is hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It doesn't work.
So what Congress
Although I
is
do sleep very well on planes.
So Congress is shooting around the idea of requiring airline pilots to be able to vouch in some sort of manner that they actually had a full night's sleep. The airline should require it. Now, here's an interesting thing. My understanding is that if a pilot has already been diagnosed with the sleep apnea like I have, they are required, and if you look on the back of my sleep apnea machine, I'm pulling off a back panel here, and inside the back of my sleep apnea machine is an SD card. And it's like a proprietary SD card that comes out, and then the airline pilot, they get a key that clicks into here. So they have another module on the back of this. And they take that module into work with them, and they have to plug it in to verify that they have gotten...
Otherwise, they're not
so it's
allowed
like a
to fly.
time card for sleeping.
It is, because it's considered such a serious condition that if you're a pilot, you have to have this. So... pilots that have sleep apnea have already had to do this, and now this will probably be extending
somebody
that.
mentioned in the chat room, it's probably true in the military as well. I wouldn't know from personal knowledge, but that does sound like a military type of
Interesting
thing.
enough, though, to see Congress getting into mandating laws about people's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Well, it was only a matter of
I
time.
just
But it's
find it
for our
interesting
safety,
that
I suppose.
that it's on that specific disorder. I mean, because other sleeping disorders like just, chronic insomnia are usually treated with pills. You can't really verify that somebody's taking their pills.
Right.
But with this, since it's a mechanical thing that you strap to your face.
And it can actually detect I believe it actually has pressure sensors. I could be wrong. I know some units have pressure sensors. They can actually tell, like, if it was just on.
And not attached to your face?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it actually seems to run differently, like when it's attached versus...
How do you feel about that thing?
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I quit using it.
Yeah, that cannot be comfortable to sleep in at all.
I instead said, all right, I'm just going to lose weight. So I lost 35 pounds to help curb the sleep apnea. But I still have sleep apnea.
Yeah. But it's not as active now that you've lost some weight.
I don't know. I just figure the differential between how much that mask kept me up versus how much I'm waking up. It seems like I've struck a balance now combined with the weight loss. So I've just kind of stopped at that point, I guess. But I'm gonna experiment more with the caffeine power nap because that really is up my alley. So maybe I'll report back on that.
But
it's napping.
Yeah, and I don't think that you, like you said, I think you're going to be way too excited every time. It's going to take a long time for you to get into it. Maybe if I could just apply it in the mornings a few times. Like maybe if I do it a few times, I'll get used to it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Eventually, maybe like one of these nights I'll wake up, I'll be exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of these mornings I'll just do that and I'll report back on Jupiter Nite if it works.
All right.
I'm going to drink an energy drink anyway.
I'm waiting.
Now,
I want you to do this.
We have a whole bunch of stuff in our show notes here that we were going to share about dreams, but the show's getting a little long. I think we'll have to save that for a future episode.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and people can check the show notes too, and then they can maybe share their thoughts with us, and we'll incorporate that into a future episode.
Right, but we do have some tips at the end of the show notes for sleeping better. As well as some other fun stuff that came up while we were looking for...
Lifehacker had a really good article on it. There was actually some of the... I'll just mention one that jumped out at me because I think probably all three of us here at the table are guilty of this.
Yeah.
And that was... don't look at a bright screen before bed. Maybe like even up to an hour, including TV, because that light is going directly into your eyeballs, into your brain, and telling your brain it's light out. It's a very low level brain instinctual thing that says it's still daytime out.
Yeah,
I fall asleep with the TV on, and that's one of the things I think hurts me in Alaska is because I don't have the TV and having the headphones isn't the same.
Yeah, no, you get used to it.
It's not just the noise; it's the actual eye input.
I think it's both.
Yeah. Because it's almost it's an expected input.
Well, I'm surprised you're not more of a napper then, because that's actually one of the things that keeps me from napping so much.
Too much stimulus.
Too much light.
I have a lot going on with this stuff now, especially in work and everything.
Yeah.
My roommate, he naps all the time. I don't
Lucky
get it.
bastard.
I don't know where he gets the time. But
My dad does
he's
too, but I think it's just
napping.
because he's old.
Another guy I worked with at the same freaking place could nap on demand. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, he could sit back in his chair. And he would legitimately... He said he learned the skill when he was traveling abroad for school.
There are ways to self-hypnotize yourself into sleep.
I've never believed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hypnosis is a shady area to begin with, but if you can do it to take a nap, it might be worth it.
You know what, everyone? Here's what we'll do. We'll leave it to you. It's in your hands at this point. What are your power nap tricks? Do you have any hints for how you've learned to nap, or any other thoughts on sleep in general and thoughts on dreaming? Let us know in the show comments. You can always engage us over at JupiterColony.com. We've also got the Facebook page.
Facebook.com/Jupiter Broadcasting.
That's where we announce live events like every single night that we're doing Jupiter at Night, at least Monday through Thursday. And that's 9 p.m. Pacific over at JupiterBroadcasting.com/live. Tomorrow night, we're pretty excited because we're going to be doing our special on internet porn. Sort of a historical look at internet porn, some of the trends it's at, where it's going, and
how it has changed the world for the better.
For the better. And we're going to tie it in with the movie that's coming out this weekend that sort of is...
it's called Middlemen, if you want to check that out.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
So that might be a good weekend capper, and that'll be tomorrow night, Thursday, JupiterBroadcasting.com/live at 9 p.m. Pacific. Okay, everyone. Well, if you've enjoyed this episode of Jupiter Night or any episode of Jupiter Night, please send those out to your friends. We're trying to spread the word about the show. That's our next big hurdle, and we're hoping maybe you can help with that. Okay, well, we hope to see you tomorrow night. Thanks so much for watching.
Bye.